Hello and welcome to the in-news series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja, and in this segment today we are going to discuss the issue that has been bothering India with respect to derogatory remarks made by a spokesperson which does not reflect the outlook of the government of India towards the religion of Islam. Now, Indian government is doing the damage control because the Gulf is very important for India. Let's begin with our points of discussion. So one thing that you have to keep in mind from the prelims examination, who are the Gulf countries? The Gulf Cooperation Council, the relationship with respect to trade in oil and remittances by the people who are residing, the Indian citizens who are working in the Gulf. These all facts are important. From the analytical point of view, why is the Gulf important to India? Data support is very important whenever we are writing our answers. So this particular segment is very important, especially from the perspective of GS Mains paper second. For prelims, I told you what is important, and optional PSIR. Okay, let's begin with the news now. Because derogatory remarks were made by a spokesperson of the current ruling party, it actually dented a bit the relationship that India has with many countries, specifically the countries that are the Gulf countries and other countries that are in Asia as well. So what is the entire issue? Why is it happening? We will discuss all that. But before that, we shall know about the Gulf countries. What are the Gulf countries? The Gulf countries are those countries that have a border with the Persian Gulf. Okay? This region. It consists of the country of Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, and Oman. And except for Iraq, all the countries are a part of the Gulf Cooperation Council, with which India has a huge interest, specifically the threefold interest in oil and gas and trade, the huge number of Indians that are residing there, and we are getting remittance from them. And the Gulf countries, from these perspective, apart from the historically and culturally entrenched relationship that India already has with these countries, apart from that, these are the many other factors. So let us first of all see that what are the different areas of cooperation. First, we will talk about the Gulf Cooperation Council's role in that. Now, it has emerged, the Gulf Cooperation Council has emerged as a major trading partner of India, and it has vast potential as India's investment partner for the future. The Gulf Cooperation Council's substantial oil and gas reserves are of utmost importance from the perspective of India's energy needs. India is already fighting a battle trying to maintain its stand with respect to Russian-Ukraine war. Amidst that, we have this new issue. Now, this issue is going to prove very fatal if not appropriate amount of damage control is done. Okay, and of course, why is the Gulf important? That has already been shown when the spokesperson of the ruling party, they were suspended days after they made the remarks. So from that only we can get the hint that Gulf is very important. Another point is that UAE, if we talk about United Arab Emirates, it is India's third largest trading partner in 2021-2022. Also, the second largest for both exports as well as imports. It will be very interesting for you to know that many Indian businesses are operating in the Gulf countries, and calls after the derogatory remarks were made, calls for boycotting the Indian goods, Indian products, they are gathering a lot of resonance with the Gulf Cooperation Council countries and the Gulf countries. So it will be a very losing situation for India if this is not controlled, if the damage is not controlled. In terms of total trade volume, UAE was behind United States and China. Okay, this is for prelims as well as mains. Now, Saudi Arabia is the fourth largest trading partner of India, and imports from Saudi Arabia were the fourth largest. Although we do not do a lot of export with Saudi Arabia, but imports and basically the major part of the imports, petroleum products, crude oil was the biggest factor, concomitant of the entire import. Iraq, the fifth largest trading partner in 21-22 at 34.3 billion. Also Qatar, very friendly country with India. The total trade was $15 billion, accounting for just 1.4% of India's total trade, but India's most important supplier of natural gas. India is already energy starved, first. Secondly, in this volatile contemporary world, it is becoming more difficult for India to not put all the eggs in one basket. India is not sustainably able to develop its own energy resources because we are starved. First of all, we do not have a lot of reserves. India wants to ensure that our true and trusted allies, when it comes to energy support, if they are hurt, we have to make sure that their sentiments should be respected. Okay. Another thing is that the Observer Research Foundation in April has said that more than 84% of India's petroleum demand, included crude oil and petroleum products, was met with imports because India doesn't have a lot of resources. India sourced crude oil from 42 countries in 2021, and this is up from 27 countries, beg your pardon, 27 countries back in 2006 and 7. So our dependence on these countries is increasing, not decreasing. And India, the top 20 sources of India's oil imports consistently accounted for over 95% of India's oil imports. Top 10 countries accounted for over 80% in the last 15 years, and share of the Persian Gulf countries in India's crude oil imports has remained 60% since the last 15 years. We are not able to decrease it. That is why suspension of the spokesperson was done within just a few days. Now in 2021-2022, the largest exporter of oil of India was Iraq. Preliminary fact: Iraq has also joined the chorus with respect to asking Indian diplomats to come and apologize publicly and have all the air cleared out about these comments. Saudi Arabia accounted for 17 to 18% of India's oil imports for over a decade. Kuwait, UAE remained major oil exporters to India. Iran used to be the second largest oil exporter to India back in 9 and 10, and its share were down to less than 1% because of the sanctions of the US, because Iran was constantly enriching its uranium reserves for nuclear weapons for that. So moving on, more than 13.46 million Indian citizens work abroad, okay? And in that, Gulf has the largest number. UAE has 3.42, preliminary fact. Saudi Arabia, 2.6 million. Kuwait, they together account for over half of all the NRIs. It can be a direct question from here. India was the largest recipient in 2020 of the remittances that are given by employees who are employed abroad. So we earn in foreign exchange. And that was the double what Mexico, which was the second, it earned $42.9 billion, but India, the double of it, $83.15 billion. This was because the data is very authentic because of World Bank. Largest contributor is the huge Indian diaspora in the Gulf. Okay, the Gulf Cooperation Council countries accounted for more than 50% of the total 69 billion remittances received in India 2016-17. UAE accounted for 26.9%, Saudi Arabia for 11.6%, Qatar for 6.4%, then Kuwait and Oman. Now beyond the GCC, remittances from the US accounted for 22.9%, second only to the UAE. Another direct question can be framed from here. Moving on, in conclusion, I would like to say that since 2014, India is trying to build a good relationship with the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, Gulf countries, and Organization for Islamic Cooperation countries, because India is a secular country. India wants to maintain its stand that is there around the world of being a secular country. And the current government took the entire responsibility of doing so by making high-level visits to those countries in the Gulf. And in exchange, the Gulf countries also did the same. Now, the current Prime Minister visited many important Islamic monuments, Islamic religious monuments, whenever he was there in different countries like Abu Dhabi, Qatar, UAE. Also, if we talk about the visits that we get from there, has always been high level. Not some small officials were sent, but high-level designatories were sent. Apart from that, during the pandemic as well, there was a lot of closeness between the Gulf countries and India. So, in order to maintain what India has already, the status quo, India has shown that its views are not reflected by some fringe elements. That was according to the Twitter handle of India itself. And we need to ensure that such derogatory comments as future bureaucrats, we do not resonate with them. We have to maintain our stand. Okay, moving on, let's talk about our mains question. Since 2014, the Gulf has kept a special focus for itself. In India's foreign policy, we have to discuss it. Okay, write it in 250 words. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.